James Martinez adjusted his scanner one more time, the crimson readings painting his weathered face in an eerie glow. 200 years. That's how long the distress beacon had been broadcasting from this forgotten corner of the Kepler system. 2 centuries of automated calls for help that no one had bothered to answer. Until now. His ship, the Wanderer, settled onto the landing pad with a mechanical sigh. Through the viewport, he could see the colony's dome structures, their bioluminescent panels flickering like dying stars against the alien sunset. The atmospheric readings were stable, breathable even, but something felt wrong. In all his years as a deep space salvage operator, James had learned to trust his instincts. The airlock hissed open, and he stepped onto the surface of Kepler 442c. The gravity was lighter than Earth's, making each step feel like a small bounce. His boots clicked against the metal decking as he approached the colony's main entrance. The door sensors activated, and a holographic display materialized before him. "Welcome, traveler." The AI's voice was melodious, distinctly feminine. "Please, state your business with New Eden Colony." "James Martinez, independent contractor. I'm responding to your distress signal." A pause. Then, with what sounded almost like excitement, "Please proceed to decontamination. Colony Administrator Liza. Chen will meet you shortly." The decontamination chamber bathed him in blue light for several minutes before the inner door opened. What James saw beyond made him freeze. The colony's main habitat was a marvel of human engineering. Vast hydroponic gardens stretched as far as he could see, their green canopies thriving under artificial suns. But it wasn't the impressive agriculture that stopped him cold. It was the people. Dozens of them moved through the gardens, tending crops and operating machinery with practiced efficiency. All of them women, every single one. "You must be James." He turned to find a woman approaching, tall, with silver-streaked hair pulled back in a practical ponytail. Her eyes held a mixture of hope and wariness that he'd seen before in survivors of long isolation. "Administrator Chen? Just Liza, please." She extended her hand. "You can't imagine how good it is to see someone from outside. It's been a very long time." As they walked through the colony, Liza explained their situation. New Eden had been established as an agricultural research station in 2387, specializing in developing crops for hostile environments. The colony's population had been roughly balanced between men and women until the Cascade event. "Solar storm?" James asked, examining the memorial wall they'd paused beside. Hundreds of names were etched into the metal surface. "Worse. A quantum cascade reaction in our power core. The radiation was selective. It affected the Y chromosome specifically, causing cellular breakdown in all our male colonists over the course of several months. We lost 847 men, including my husband." James felt a chill that had nothing to do with the colony's climate control. "But you survived. All of you." "We adapted." Liza's voice carried a note of fierce pride. "Humanity always adapts. We modified. Our genetic laboratories developed artificial reproduction methods, created a sustainable society. For 200 years, we've not just survived. We've thrived." They entered the colony's central plaza, where children played in the afternoon light. James noticed they were all girls, all bearing the subtle genetic markers of careful breeding programs. The sight was both inspiring and deeply unsettling. "So why the distress signal?" he asked. Liza's expression darkened. "Our genetic diversity is failing. Even with our most advanced techniques, we're seeing increased birth defects, reduced fertility rates. We've pushed the boundaries of what's possible with a limited gene pool, but biology has its limits. We estimate another 50 years before the colony becomes completely unviable." They reached the colony's laboratory complex, where Liza introduced him to Dr. Sarah Kim, the lead geneticist. The woman looked exhausted, her eyes rimmed with the kind of fatigue that came from fighting an impossible battle. "We need genetic material," Dr. Kim explained without preamble. "Fresh DNA to revitalize our population. When our sensors detected your ship's approach, we ran a preliminary scan. Your genetic profile shows no compatibility issues with our population. You could literally save our entire civilization." The weight of her words settled on James like a heavy blanket. He thought of Earth, where genetic diversity was taken for granted, where the human race numbered in the billions. Here, on this distant world, 200 women represented the last spark of human civilization in the Kepler system. "What exactly are you asking of me?" Dr. Kim and Liza exchanged glances. "We're asking you to help us survive," Liza said simply. "Our artificial reproduction facilities can work with donated genetic material. We're not asking you to stay, though you'd be welcome to. We're asking you to give us hope." James spent the next 3 days touring the colony, marveling at what these women had accomplished. They'd developed new forms of agriculture, created sustainable fusion reactors, even established trade relationships with non-human species in neighboring systems. They'd built not just a colony, but a civilization. In the end, the choice was easy. "I'll help," he told Liza on his final evening there. "But I want to do more than just provide genetic samples. I want to help you contact Earth, establish proper supply lines. You've proven that humanity can survive anything. Now let's make sure you thrive." Liza's eyes glistened with tears she refused to shed. "You truly understand what HFY means, don't you?" James looked out at the colony's lights twinkling in the alien dusk, at the gardens that bloomed in defiance of a hostile universe, at the children playing games that had been passed down through generations of survivors. "Humanity doesn't just survive," he said. "We adapt, we overcome, and we make the impossible possible. That's what you've done here, that's what we'll continue to do." As his ship prepared for departure the next morning, James carried with him not just samples and data, but the story of New Eden, proof that even in the darkest circumstances, human ingenuity and determination could light the way forward. The stars awaited, and humanity's future burned bright among them.